Hi guys, thank you so much for watching my video. My name is Allow Me I'll Do if you're just joining me for the first time, and on this channel I would actually be talking about my brand, about my businesses. So I have a cleaning, interior design and home staging brand, and on this channel I'll just be talking about my various projects, how I manage them, lessons learned, and I believe that there's a lot that you can learn from watching me. So I would encourage you to subscribe, to like and to share my content. So thank you so much for watching. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about something really interesting, and that is about scope creep. Now, what is scope creep? Scope creep is a deviation from a particular project or a particular task. It could start very subtle. You could just start with a small change request here and there, and then over time you could just see that you've actually moved off from the initial scope that you have planned out for the project or the task. Now I'll just break it down to my business. Okay, so recently I had an experience. In fact, that is what inspired this particular video. I had taken on a job, an after builders clean job, and now usually for an after builders clean, the basic task there is to ensure that all the dirt that has been caused post construction, by reason of the construction work that has been carried out in the building or the property, you cater for it to ensure that it's cleaned out and the property is back to how it was, or if it's like a very new build, it doesn't have any construction dirt or stains anywhere. You just ensure that it's in a presentable state for someone to live in or to stay in after the construction work has been done. So basically that's what an after builders clean would do, just to cater to those details and to ensure that the dust, everything that is caused basically by construction work. So I had that job, and I kind of had an understanding with my client, because if you had watched my previous video, I said that understanding your client's requirement is very important. So I had tried to understand what her requirement were as regards that particular job. So I told her to send me pictures of the areas that she would have me clean, and I saw them and they looked very much in line with the scope. So I made arrangements, I put together my resources, I worked out a timeline based on what information that she has shared for that particular task, and I gave her a budget based on that, and I went ahead and went for the job. When I got to the job, I guess she just saw a cleaner in the house and just figured out that I would use the opportunity to do every form of cleaning. That's what she thought in her mind, and she started assigning different tasks to me and saying, okay, what, why don't you deep clean the oven, deep clean this, instead of dishes, so many things that were really not part of the scope. And of course, me being me wanted to make my client happy, I was like, okay, that's fine, it's not really in it, but I'll see how I can work that out. And yeah, so I actually took on the extra work, which is what I'm talking about today. That's a scope creep. It was a deviation from what initially we had planned out for, what she had actually employed and recruited me for. And the interesting bit was the budget that I gave her, or the quotes that I gave her, really was in line with the after builders clean. It had nothing to do with this other addition that she was bringing in to the picture. So really you would consider a scope creep a very has a negative impact actually on projects. It has a negative impact on tasks. Why would I say so? Because one, it takes away the time, it takes away the resources that you would have ordinarily dedicated to the task at hand. So the time that I would have spent really attending to the builder's clean, ensuring that all the paint stains were taken off from the property, I spent that time cleaning up the oven. Yeah, so at the end of the day, time has been wasted, resources has been wasted, and the quality of the work is compromised. Why? Because you're now tied up, with very little time to invest into, the main task or the main, project. And at the end of the day, the satisfaction levels are low. One, your morale is down, your morale is low, because you're doing more than what you plan to do, and your client on the other hand is possibly not happy because you haven't paid so much attention to the areas that was the original plan or the original scope of the work. So really project creep can be disastrous to a task and to a project, and that is why it's something that you really need to pay attention to when you take on a task or a job. How do you, and that brings me to the next point really, so how do you manage scope creep? like in this instance, you know, you take on a job and you go there, and then the client decides that they want you to do so many other things that were not in your plan, and you know that you have a certain timeline, you know, you have certain resources, you know, how do you not manage it? For somebody like me that is very particular about my clients' happiness and satisfaction at the end of the job, there are some tips that I have learned that I believe will be very relevant in helping to, you know, manage scope creep and of course avoid this kind of instances occurring in your business or on your tax. And I think the first thing is really managing your client's expectation even before you start the job. So at the point of, you know, probably discussing about the project or discussing about the tax with your clients, you want to let them know that this is what this job entails. Okay, you're calling me for an after builders clean. I hope you're aware of what an after builders clean, you know, entails. It basically entails me, you know, wiping out the doors, wiping out, you know, whatever it is. Just let them know, you know, the details of what the work entails. That's one, you know, managing the expectation, and then ask, you know, aside this tax, are there any other special bits, you know, that you would want me to factor in, you know, and then of course at that point they share whatever it is that they want. If they don't and they're fine, that's fine. You now let them know that just so that we can manage expectations, I wouldn't be doing anything outside the scope. All right, so whatever quote I'm giving you, it's for, you know, this particular scope, and I hope you're happy. So that way their mind is already prepared when you come in for the job, or when your team comes in for the job. You know, they're not going to be doing anything outside, you know, the nature of the scope or the scope that you have defined on that particular tax. That's one. Then two, if for instance, you know, the client actually you manage the expectation, and you know the client still needs you to do something else when you are there, I think it's very important you have like a change process, you know, in place, so you can, you know, politely just discuss with your client and just see how you can accommodate whatever, you know, changes they might want to make, and just say, you know, I'm willing to do this, but you will need to factor in that I will need more time, and I'll probably need, you know, more resources. I'll probably need, you know, a different quote, you know, for this additional work. You know, are you happy with that? Because of course, you know that I had already planned for this, but this is like an addition. You just really let them know. I think communication is really key when it comes to scope creep. You know, you just want everybody to be on the same page, everybody, and that's why it's very important to document, you know, so that everybody says. So in my kind of business, you know, pictures go a long way, you know, so if anything is outside the pictures, you know, you just want to, okay, this is not actually part of what you sent to me, or even it means writing it down, you know, just writing it down so that everybody like has a clear view of what the expectations are, and you know, what the requirements are. So if at all there needs to be a change, you know that you are happy to, you know, make changes on your own part to make that change happen on our part as we deliver the project. So those are like two things that I think that can help manage it. And of course, just really abiding by the rules and just sticking to it is very helpful. But of course, the flexibility is a very good part of business, and you really want to have that, you know, especially when you're just starting out. You really want to be as flexible as possible with your clients, so that, you know, you leave a good feel with them and they always want to have you back on it. So that's really what I wanted to share about scope creep, and just simply put how you can manage it. So I don't know, do you have any thoughts about scope creep? Have you experienced it in your business, and how best do you think you can manage it? You can just put it down in the comment section, and then I'll be sure to comment and then to take it from there. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a thing or two. I'm looking forward to seeing you in my next video. Please do well to subscribe to my channel, like it, and then to share it. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.